Hey guys, we're doing something a little different today. Today we are in the wild suburbs of Cary, North Carolina. We're on the hunt for a specific thing. So it's interesting. Let's talk about audiophiles. Audiophiles are an interesting breed, right? They're always on the hunt for the perfect blend of design, great sound, and price, right? So it's interesting because they're always on this hunt for perfect sound. You know, today we are on a hunt for a product. I think, wait, this might be what we're looking for. Are you a fan of the latest and greatest music gear? We are too, which is why every week we post up new videos and reviews of new gear, how-tos, audiophile tips, and topics, and much more. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the latest uploads right here at Moon Audio. It's no surprise that I'm a big fan of Meze Audio. It's hard not to be when all their products sound freaking amazing. So needless to say, I was quite eager to get my hands on the Advar when it first came out. Before the Advar came out, the Rise series was the IEM lineup for Meze. This consisted of the Rise Solo, which was their amazing entry-level IEM, and the Rise Penta, which is their flagship IEM with 5 specially tuned drivers for an absolute huge and resolute sound. But then comes along the Advar IEM. Priced right in the middle of the pack at $699, it certainly has a high-end design, but where does the sound quality fit between the two? We'll get to that in just a minute, but let's take a closer look at the Advar and see what makes it tick. I'll just come out and say it. I'm a huge fan of the design. It's absolutely stunning. It might be one of the best looking IEMs on the market. Agree? Disagree? Let us know in the comments. The Advar has a stainless steel chassis just like the Rise Solos. It's hefty, but not so much that it'll wear heavy in your ears. Meze Audio has also placed a high gloss black chrome plating over the stainless steel, which is what adds the sexy curves and shape to the IEM. The Advar is a single dynamic driver design. Inside you'll find a 10.2 millimeter driver. It's larger than the Rise Solo, which is 9.2 millimeters. And you'll notice immediately the sonic differences between the two. More on that later. The chassis uses MMCX connectors, which can be finicky over time. They're not my favorite connector, but they fit snugly enough, and the cable is your standard braided OEM cable. Nothing special there. Check out our open boxing video for the rest of the contents included in the packaging. For those of you that have read my other IEM reviews, you should know by now that I have stupidly sized small ear canals, which is why I have a love-hate relationship with reviewing IEMs. Meze Audio is the only exception to that rule, primarily because their IEMs are on the small size compared to many others out there. The Rise Penta was just about the most comfortable thing I've ever put in my ears. The Advar is quite a bit smaller than the Rise series, and I have to say, it might be the perfect combination of weight and comfort, at least for me. The small size of the chassis puts little to no pressure on the ear, thus resulting in ridiculously long listening sessions, as I had with the Rise Penta. When it comes to new products, design is only half of the equation. Actually, it's probably more like a tenth of the equation, because you're buying the product based on how it sounds, not how it looks. At least, I hope not. The nice thing about Meze is that their products both look and sound amazing. The Advar is no different, except that it sounds much different than the other IEMs from Meze. You shouldn't be surprised that the Advar still retains the excellent Meze soundstage that is present in all of their headphones and IEMs. No one does it better, and you should be impressed with the overall imaging and spatial width and depth that they achieve from a single driver. It's not quite up to the Empyrean or Rise Penta's level, but the soundstage is one of the best features of the Meze Advar. Listening to the IEM with a number of different genres, one thing really stands out. The Advar provides some great warmth and bottom end, more so than I expected. Being a single dynamic driver design, the Advar has some really great depth and energy, but I really noticed some major low-end improvements over the Rai series. It has fast response and great tightness in the bass. It never sounded bloated. The mid-range was the sweet spot for me, offering some nice body and full sound, especially in guitars and vocals. The top end rolls off nicely, really doing a good job to correct any harsh frequencies in the highs, allowing for a relaxed and smooth listening experience. It's a great sounding IEM. Fun, energetic, nice body, leaning to the warm side, but not at the expense of leaving out any detail. I think part of the magic sauce is certainly the ear tips which they come packaged with. I was swimming in different ear tips, and the packaged ones were certainly one of the best match with the tuning of the Advar. Make sure you find the right size for your ears. It'll make all the difference in the world. So for my testing setup, I used the Advars with the Estelle & Kern Acro CA1000 music player and compared them to the Rai Pentas and the Rai Solos. So from an engineering perspective, the Advar is going to be closest to the Solo, since they are both single dynamic driver IEMs. The Solo's dynamic range is impressive right out of the gate for a single driver. It's a fun or V-shaped sound signature. This type of frequency response is consumer friendly, but lots of times these types of signatures mask the mid frequencies. The tuning of the Solo is surprisingly balanced despite this. They have the nice soundstage Meze is known for, but of course, it's not as pronounced as their headphone models or the Rai Penta. The best thing about the Solo is the price for the sound quality. The worst thing is the fact that they've been recently discontinued. The Advar fits somewhere between the Solo and the Penta. The thing that stands out most for the Advar is the warmth. I also find them to be a great balance of comfort and sound quality for the price point. The Solos are darn comfortable, but the weight of the stainless steel chassis was fatiguing eventually. With the smaller size of the Advar, I never really found fatigue to be an issue. It is certainly the warmest of the three IEMs from Meze, and will be great for anyone who likes to get lost in their music. I love the Penta, but the Advar would automatically be my under 1,000 recommendation for anyone wanting a great sounding IEM. The Rai Penta is the flagship IEM from Meze, sporting a finely tuned 5-driver design that sounds impressively expansive. Music is detailed with nice extension in the bottom end, and the higher frequencies are smooth and balanced. These are going to sound great for every genre out there. The Penta are well balanced across the board, offering some of the best imaging I've heard in an IEM. Low end isn't as energetic as the Advar, but it still has nice presence across all frequencies. They are by far the most comfortable IEM I've ever worn as well. Hands down, no fatigue whatsoever for hours and hours. If you want the best of what Meze has to offer in an IEM, then do not hesitate to get the Rai Penta. It is the superior product of the three IEMs. Bottom line, I think these are going to be one of the hottest IEMs of the year. The Advar is impressive, offering much more than the entry-level Solo and coming darn close to the performance of the Rai Penta given the mid-level price point. There's no surprise that the infamous Meze soundstage still manages to wow and amaze with each new product and iteration they come out with, but it's the low-end presence, mid-level energy, and the high-frequency roll-off of the Advar that makes for a smooth, dynamic, and fun IEM. There are many things to give Meze Audio credit for, but consistency is a big one. They just keep putting out awesome sounding IEMs and headphones that don't disappoint. Meze? More like a Meze. That was Ross. Ross came up with that. We'll include a link to the full review of the Advar IEM from Meze Audio. There you can find more info on the construction, sound impressions, comparisons with the Rai Solo and Penta, and much more. If you liked the video, feel free to give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more reviews and videos on the latest audiophile gear. If you have any questions about the Advar, please leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.